Enemy Intel is brought to you by Rothman Institute at Jefferson, the official orthopedic and healthcare partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
The Philadelphia Eagles defense has been playing outstanding football, but they're facing an interesting challenge this week in the Seattle Seahawks offense. The Seahawks don't have a great offense, but they have a very difficult offense to match up to in certain ways. And one way is the Seahawks' use of the empty formation, where Russell Wilson is in the backfield in the shotgun by himself. There's 5 split receivers, there's no backs in the backfield. Now, empty is an interesting formation because it can do a lot of things for the offense. Keep in mind that as soon as you go empty, the defense has to spread out. And what that does then is define matchups. So if you have a really dynamic, quick player like J.D. McKissick and you want him in space in a mismatch in the passing game, you line him up out wide, you spread the defense, that's what you get. That's one thing that empty can do for you, is create matchups by spreading the formation. The other thing you'll see a lot of out of empty is the quick game. And by the quick game, we mean the 3-step drop timing pass game and the quick 5-step drop timing pass game. And of course, one reason for this, and I think this will be particularly important against the Eagles, is the ball gets out of Russell Wilson's hands before the pressure can get there. And in this case, that's really important because the Eagles' defensive front overmatches the Seahawks' offensive line. So the quick game will be really important out of empty for the Seahawks. Now, the other thing it does is it allows Russell Wilson to see things and create gaps, because when the defense is spread out, there are gaps. And we know that Russell Wilson is as good a second reaction quarterback as there is in the NFL. So very often he sees gaps and he moves. Now, sometimes he moves on his own because he can make plays. Other times he feels pressure or even perceives it when it's not really there, because he does have a tendency to break down. But he's so good when he moves, as you're seeing right here, moves around. Very late in the down, he'll find Paul Richardson for a touchdown. So the empty set gives an offense, and this particular offense with Russell Wilson, a lot of advantages. Because one thing when you study the tape of the Seahawks offense, you don't see a lot of structured execution in the pass game. You actually see a lot more second reaction plays. So the empty set is a challenge for the Philadelphia Eagles. Yes, their D-line is better than the Seahawks O-line, but it doesn't end there. Now you have to make sure you prevent matchups from occurring that you don't like, and most important, Russell Wilson from moving around and creating plays with his arm and with his legs.
All right, the Seahawks are the only team in the NFL where the quarterback leads the team in rushing yards. That's because they hardly have any healthy running backs. So, Ike Reese, why even have a running back there? They have a lot of empty sets, don't they?
Yeah, it's one of the things Seattle loves to do. They lead the NFL in getting in this formation. Empty backfield set. They want to sort of spread you out, make the reads a little easier for Russell Wilson back there. And we saw this last year versus the Eagles, and Jim Schwartz is going to switch it up. You know, you give him an empty look against a guy like Russell who likes to run around, you can send extra guys. And if you watch as this play is developed here, we're going to send extra guys. You got him covered on the outside. You got him covered on the outside there. We're in man coverage here on the back end. But the primary reason you do this is you want to force Russell Wilson to get rid of that ball sooner than he wants to. Nice job there. He has to basically throw the ball up. I think that's a win from the Eagles. Now, you watch us here earlier in the season, right, against a guy like Phillip Rivers. Not much of a threat to run, but they like to get into empty sets as well. Again, this makes the reads for the defense a little easier to find for Phillip Rivers. But what I like is the look that Jim Schwartz decides to give him up here. Now, believe me, LA knows that if they get into an empty backfield set, that we're likely to bring pressure here. So Jim Schwartz calls a defense where he gives you the look of you're going to bring extra pressure. We got 6 guys up front here, but what's going to happen at the snap of the ball is you're going to see a couple of these guys drop out. We're still going to be able to get contained here, even though Brandon goes underneath. We're going to rush the quarterback with just 4 players because, quite frankly, Rivers isn't a threat to run. You put more guys back in the coverage. That sort of confuses Phillip Rivers, and all he can do is throw the ball up, and he's fortunate it wasn't intercepted by Patrick Robinson there.
Now, how imperative is it for the defensive linemen of the Eagles to stay home and contain Russell Wilson once a play breaks down? Because you know that happened last year against the Eagles.
You got to be disciplined in your rush lanes when you're rushing a guy like Russell Wilson. This guy, he'll pirouette or he'll do some 360s out there. He knows how to keep a play alive. And so the Eagles pass rushers have to be disciplined, stay in your lanes, don't lose containment, because he can hurt you and will hurt you with his legs.